Alright guys, welcome back to another segment. Before I start, I want to thank everyone for the views, for the shares on Instagram, wherever. I'm going to be posting some of the stuff on Twitter now as well. Facebook I'm going to try to do as well. Like I said last segment, or the last Red Star segment I should say, I was going to come back once the Europa League draw was finished and talk about who Red Star got and stuff like that. So if you remember, I said that I'm always a guy who wants the toughest matchup because of, it's a measuring stick to see how far you've come. And you can honestly say that Red Star probably got the toughest or the second toughest matchup they could get in AC Milan. So I have some stats here just from the last less than a year, maybe 9-10 months, some of the records that Milan have put forth in terms of their teams in Serie A as well as Europa League. So let me just say some of them here. So it's one loss in their last 33 matches, and their only loss was in Europa League to Lille, which was in the group stage not too long ago. They haven't lost in the Serie A since March, which is 23 matches. Only leader in the big 5 leagues that hasn't lost yet. So they haven't lost a match in their league as of yet. In every Serie A match season, they have scored at least 2 goals, which is remarkable. So we talk about teams, when they've scored just 1 goal in all of their matches, and it's like astonishing. This is at least 2 goals in all of their matches. They have scored at least 1 goal in league play in the last 31 matches. So that's almost a full season. If you take a look at it, I believe there's 20 teams, even that there's 18, so that's 30, 38 matches, 36 matches. So that's almost a full season where they've scored at least a goal. Average age of 25 in Europa League, and that's the team that they've kind of put out in the Europa League is 25 years of age. They usually go with just a 23, so they're even younger than the 25 by 2 years. So AC Milan actually got this far in maybe a bit more of a non-conventional way. So in the playoff of the Europa League, they barely got by Rio Ave in PKs. Rio Ave is a Portuguese side. So they barely got to the Europa League. And, now they're off through to the knockout stages. They've played, I guess, all right in the group stages. 2 games ago, they were down 2-0 against Celtic, and they came back and they won 4-2, which shows you the power that they have going forward and the ability to score. But the weakness is that they actually went down 2-0. They lost to Lille, I believe it was, I have it here. So it was 3-0. Another thing that they do is in the Europa League, they use a different system than they do in the domestic league. So in the domestic league, it's more of a 4-2-3-1 formation, whereas Europa League is 4-3-3. And I'm going off live score and a bunch of other sites. So it's not always right, but it's something to go off of. Donnarumma has been their goalkeeper for the kids, I believe 21, 22 now. He's been the goalkeeper there since 16. So Mihajlovic, ever since Mihajlovic put him in between the sticks, he's been there. And he's been number 1, and he's one of the better goalkeepers in the world. We all know about Ibrahimovic, his ability to score goals. He's out with injury now. I do believe by February, I believe he's gonna be fully healed. Their ability to kind of turn things around this year with all the good teams that the Serie A does have, and it's kind of underrated. People always look at it as maybe a league that doesn't have the quality. I'm sure Juventus is taking a bit of a step back, but Milan, teams like Milan, Napoli, Inter Milan, who are missing, Atalanta, Lazio have all taken a step forward, and it's more very even now, I guess. And we're still obviously not even halfway through the season, but it's very interesting, to say the least, to see Milan at the top, which, they haven't won the league in 7, 8, 9 years now. So it's been a while. It's been completely dominated by Juventus in the last 10 years or so. So it's going to be a very tough matchup for Red Star. This is, like I said, this is probably the toughest team out of the seeded that you can get. Now, looking on Red Star side, this transfer window will be very interesting. They've been in contact with some players. Dragovic is a name that's been brought up as a center back. I mean, if you bring him in, you're probably looking at selling someone, maybe someone like a Degenek, who was supposed to be out the last window. So maybe you sell Degenek and you bring in a guy like Dragovic. Borjan was announced the best goalkeeper in the Europa League. Going forward, you have guys like Katai, who needs to get healthy. If Red Star has any chance of advancing, he simply needs to get healthy. If they have any chance of advancing, You have playmakers like Kanga, you have Ivanic, you have a lot. Ben, Falcinelli is a guy who's going to have to score. If Red Star has any chance of getting through this, he's really going to have to score. Sanogo's going to have to do his bit in protecting the back four and Petrovic as well. So a 4-2-3, I'm assuming it's going to be a 4-2-3-1 formation. The good thing about Red Star, and something that I mentioned in the last segment, is that they've used a bunch of different formations to see what kind of works and to test out what works best. And you're not gonna attack all the time. So for example, against Slovan Liberec in the first game in Belgrade, it was more attack. Whereas against Hoffenheim, it was more of a defending, and even Ghent, if you want to put them in that category as well. So it's more of a defensive formation. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Stankovic goes with forward. He has some time to prepare the team. We have 2 months to prepare for Milan. Milan has 2 months to prepare for us as well. They're gonna acquire some players in January. I don't doubt. Papa Gomez from Atalanta seems unsettled there and looks like he's on his way out. And Milan is one of the teams that could vie for his services. He's a great setup man. He can score. Him and Ibrahimovic could be a real problem there. And then they have guys in the midfield who can really stop you from going forward, like Kesse and Ishmael Benaker, who's an excellent dribbler of the ball, passing precision, stuff like that. But their center backs you could get at their center backs. And like I said, Gigi Donnarumma has been the #1 goalkeeper for a number of years now. Even though he's only 21, 22 years of age, he's excellent. He's one of the best in the world. And he's had some rough patches throughout the years, which is expected with a young goalkeeper. But I mean, he's one of the best in the world. So it's going to be very interesting to see going forward. I think the acquisition that Red Star makes in the next transfer window will dictate if they think that they can play with Milan or not. If they go out and make a few big splashes, then it's going to give us an idea that they think that they can play against them. If they go more conservative and sign a player here or there to kind of fill some holes, or as replacements or as substitutes for other guys, then we kind of know that, they're gonna go into this, hoping for the best and kind of pulling out whatever they can. The one thing I stress always when you're playing a better team is that you have to defend as much as you can and look to kind of score on the counterattacks. You have to frustrate them as much as possible. So the first 20-25 minutes is what everyone says. You have to be on your best, because if you concede early, then you have the potential to leak goals throughout the entire match. So once again, I always want the toughest competition as a measuring stick, and we got that now. And I look forward to the match, and it's two big clubs squaring off, and I can't wait for February.